So you know that whole thing about free will? Well, I just saw an awesome video. Well, it was a week or so ago, so it's not like I just saw it, but it was pretty close. Ender's Game. Not a bad video, actually. I love science fiction, and it was a good movie. Kind of weird. I don't know if I liked the, I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but it had some good bits. There was a little skit in that movie that you know, in my opinion, it was classic. Classic demonstration of what Christianity offers and what the right choice is to make. Anybody who saw us probably has some idea what skit I'm talking about. I'm talking about the skit with the mouse. Yes, the cerebral, whatever, powered game where Ender has a choice. And imagine a video game you play with your brain, okay? Little mouse runs up to these two grails full of green, noxious looking liquid. Kind of like reminds me of acid a little bit in how they appear. And this towering bully of a giant appears, and he's looking down at the mouse and he's like, "You have two choices. One is poison, one is not. Choose." The first choice the mouse picks, well, it's rather a tragic end.
One is poison, one is not. Choose right and you'll go to fairyland.
So a frustrated Ender tries again. And once again, his little mouse is confronted with a choice. And this time, he chooses the other grail. And here's the result. So, of the two choices, which one is the right choice? One of them ends in death, and the other one, see, in my opinion, this is a great analogy of what Christianity offers. One of them is hell. Now in Christianity, the first grail that the mouse picked, and he's clearly frying in acid when he jumps into the noxious brew. In Christianity, he would continue to writhe in agony forever. He wouldn't just dissolve the acid wouldn't just dissolve him into nothing. In Christianity, he would be in that acid, writhing in agony forever. That's choice number one. Choice number two also seems to be pretty bad, doesn't it? He jumps into the glass. They don't show it very long in the clip, but he jumps in, and clearly it's not a good outcome for the mouse. Once again, he's in acid. This is how I view Christianity. You have two choices. There's only one that's right. The other one you get to fry forever. But they call this free will. But even the one that's supposedly the right choice, what happens to you if you choose rightly? You get to writhe in acid for all eternity. When I think of acid, I think, first of all, take a good hard look at this picture. See, that's one of your rewards right there for choosing the right choice, Christianity. Yes. But in addition to the fact that it destroys your self-esteem and takes away your chance to live fully your one life on this planet, in addition to this, it promises that you get to live forever in heaven, worshiping and praising God. Yeah, this doesn't sound like a good thing for me. I mean, to me, it's like, I think Christians have this idea that they're going to meet their family in heaven in this big joyful reunion, and they'll be, we'll all have mansions, and the better Christians will be better than the Joneses. They'll have the better, fancier castles, and they'll have the bigger crowns, which is such a shallow human idea of what an afterlife is, and yet Christianity is supposed to be what heaven's like, right? But okay, so they have this idea that they're going to be walking on golden streets and living in something like the Emerald City from the Wizard of Oz, and have a wonderful palace, and everything, no bad things happen. You'll never be hungry, you'll never be sick, you'll never suffer, you'll never have to have a sick day. In heaven. And for those of you who are really snooty and holier than thou, you get to wear a really big fucking crown or have a really big castle. But anyway, are you going to have any time to enjoy it? Are you going to have any time to sit around and, I don't know, reminisce with your family or be with your family and have quality time with your family in your big castle with your big crown? Or are you going to be spending every single moment of your time bowed before God, worshiping and praising, on and on and on, forever and ever, worshiping and praising while he's sitting there going, bring it on, come on, give me more, forever. Maybe some Christians think that there's going to be like a schedule. And, I have to do the worship and praising later in the day. I have to do it for, the first half of the next millennium, but the second half of the next millennium, I can enjoy my eternal life with my family. Maybe they think that you punch a clock and you have to do so many hours a week in heaven of worshiping and praising God, and the rest of the time you can be practicing in the choir or tending to the animals that are, lucky enough to go to dog or cat heaven, or maybe exploring, space, because technically heaven is eternal, it goes on forever, so does space, so they must occupy the same space, right? So maybe there's a lot of exploration you can do once you die and go to heaven and you're in this, other dimension. Maybe you can go check out other worlds and see what the life looks like on other planets and do all kinds of cool exploration kind of stuff once you're in heaven. Maybe God gives you time off for those kind of what's the word? Activities. I don't think so, because from what I've read about heaven, the Christian idea of heaven is it's worshiping and praising God forever and ever and ever and ever, and he's never satisfied with, and I'm sorry, but he's not going to be satisfied if only half of you are there worshiping and praising and the other half of you are doing something that's selfishly appeasing to yourself. You know what I mean? It's like he wants your time. If he's going to save you and bring you up there to be with him in heaven forever, he wants your time, right? He doesn't. If you're off exploring space or being with your family in heaven, that would imply that something else is more important to you than worshiping and praising God. You deserve to be in hell if you feel that way. Why are you even in heaven if you think anything else is more important than worshiping and praising God? So no, he's not going to be happy if half of you, or even a quarter of you, or even 5 of you aren't in his throne room worshiping and praising him. He's going to notice that you're not there. He's going to notice that your number one priority is not worshiping and praising him. So I'm sorry, but the Christian heaven, really? You're going to be up there bowing before him, worshiping and praising him forever. That is not my idea of fun. That is, who cares if family members and loved ones and friends are there with me? I'm not going to even have a chance to talk to them, really, will I? Because if I'm talking to them, I'm giving myself some time and putting my own needs ahead of God's. And clearly, God is not as important to me as my own needs. So no, I won't even get to talk to my friends or be with my family. We'll be all 100% focused on worshiping and praising God. that's what we'll be doing for all eternity in heaven. That is, I'm sorry, hell. I would honestly rather be in hell. Writhing in acid or writhing in acid, those are the choices. Except in this movie, Ender's Game, there is a third choice that Ender makes. And it's the choice that I finally came to make myself. Here it is.
One is poison, one is not. Choose rat and you'll go to fairyland.
But you can choose neither.
Come on, little mouse, come on.
You killed him.
See that? Ender more or less says, fuck you to the giant, to the bully. Fuck you. You know what? I'm making another choice. My own choice, an independent choice, based on logic and reason. Both of these choices suck. And I'm practicing free will by taking you out, calling your bluff, calling a spade a spade. So yeah, I didn't really think Ender's Game was a really wonderfully great movie, but God, Harrison Ford is old. I like to think they put makeup on him to make him look that old, but he really is old. I had a crush on him when I was younger. Anyway, I think that this is an awesome illustration of what people who, you know, have some integrity and sense of self-respect do and should do when given this kind of a choice, this or this, and they call it free will. That's the other thing. Christians call this free will. Look at those two. Yeah, you can have this nasty tasting thing that's going to kill you, or you can have this one over here that's going to kill you too. I'm sorry, but if I were in heaven and I had to worship and praise him forever, because if I didn't, I wasn't, you know, I would die of boredom. I would long to have a shotgun and blow my brains out with. Because I'm sorry, that is not my idea of heaven. That is not my idea of... That's not what I want. This is why I'm glad death. I believe in death. I believe that death is my insurance policy to keep me from living forever. I don't want to live forever. At least the two kinds of forever that Christianity present, neither one of them sound very good. But I bet you in hell, you know, in between the screaming and the torture and the writhing in acid and the endless agony, you probably have a time every now and then to wave at a friend. I wonder if you could even do that in God's throne room. If you're even looking elsewhere besides at the radiant glory of God's face, you are showing that your number one priority is not God. You know? Your number one focus, you're not focusing on God right now in that moment. So yeah, no thank you. Heaven isn't heaven. And that's the other thing. And I've said this before, and so have many other people. Even just knowing that one of my friends or one of my family wasn't in this paradise, I use that word with much sarcasm with me, would make that paradise cease to be paradise. Just knowing that somebody I love and care for, or even know casually, is someplace being tortured to death tortured forever by this very God that I am cheering. Yay, God! Yay, you're so wonderful! Yay, way to go! Torture him some more! Yay! I'm sorry, how can I possibly pray something like that knowing it's torturing others forever? I have a hard time understanding Christians and how they think that this makes them a good person, believing in this God. They worship and praise something that is quite prepared to torture people forever. Anyway, so no, neither choice sounds good to me. I take Ender's choice. I attack the bully that's doing this to me and say, fuck you, I want nothing to do with your choices that are not choices. You know, slavery or eternal torment. Those are the choices Christianity offers. Eternal torment in hell or eternal slavery in heaven. Doesn't sound good to me. Think I'll pass. So anyway, it was just when I saw that movie and I saw that little bit with the mouse, that's what I thought. I thought it's kind of like, there's God and there's little peon man, and this is what God offers us. What kind of choices we get with our free will. Anyway, if you've been watching, thanks. Bye.